high above the parched central valley of Oaxaca in southern Mexico, stretch the Sierra Madera Mountains, a forbidding range with cloud-covered peaks climbing beyond 8,000 feet. A lush, almost impenetrable vegetation clings to its slopes, interrupted by plunging waterfalls and tall, weathered limestone cliffs. Muddy footpaths, just wide enough for a single person, have been cut by hand through the dense jungle. The trails pass sections on the mountainside where a single misstep could result in death. They snake across the mountains, connecting isolated huts with insulated communities. Slowly, news and trade flow along these arteries, bringing the modern world to this ancient heartland. The history of the Mazatec people dates back to 890 A.D., when the village of Huautla de Jimenez was founded. They settled on a ridge beneath the towering sacred peak known as Texcoco. Today, the village of Huautla flows down a steep terrain carved by switchback roads. The land itself is a land of immense beauty and bounty that has helped preserve these native people from the ravages of the conquest. First came the Mexica warriors with their feathered headdress and thirst for blood. Then the conquistadors in shiny metal armor and their lust for gold. Both found this unforgiving land difficult to rule, eventually abandoning it for easier conquest. The Mazatec culture remained intact, not by fighting, but by taking to heart doctrine that coincided with their own. Over millennia, the ancient Mazatec people had long cultivated a shamanic healing rite using a visionary mushroom to seek the divine. Named the Nindishito for the little ones who spring forth, the Mazatec shaman and healer used the power of this mushroom to speak to deities of the underworld and to seek advice on ailments affecting the physical, emotional, and spiritual. Newly arriving Franciscan monks insisted the visionary practices were demonic and tried to suppress their use. But the similarities of Christian symbols were welcomed by the Mazatec and only seemed to reinforce their own beliefs. Throughout history, Franciscan monks made repeated reference to an important indigenous symbol, the foliated cross, a highly stylized corn plant with outstretched ears of corn at the top. Ironically, this central symbol nearly perfectly resembled one of the strongest icons of Christianity, the Holy Cross. The sacrifice of Jesus Christ and his spilled blood also fortified the Mazatec belief that blood was the essence of all living things, and that it must be shed to ensure the future bounty of life. This interconnection of blood rites became so entwined that the Mazatec came to believe that their divine mushrooms rose from the blood of Christ as it fell to earth. The Mazatec sacramental mushroom was now inextricably tied to the blood of Christ. So central was the divine belief to the Mazatec culture that every attempt by the Catholic Church to eliminate the Nindishito ceremony failed. In Flesh of the Gods, you will encounter curanderas involved in the ancient rite of healing, using the Nindishito mushroom. Listen to a local hospital director speaking about the meeting of ancient healing practices and modern medicine. Meet a Mexican couple embracing the ancient Mazatec way of life. Hear the views from a director of a cultural center, attempting to preserve the old ways and traditions. Meet a Mazatec artist whose painting is inspired by the Nindishito ceremony. And listen to several PhDs from related fields of study, speaking about the legitimacy and importance of the Mazatec healing rites. Meet these people and more as you pierce mysteries atop cloud-covered mountains in search of Flesh of the Gods.